All right, as the second video in our Meet the Team series, we're here with Jim Magner. It's sort of 10 years in the making, this conversation, because although Jim was one of our first employees about 3 years ago when we opened, he actually goes way back with Ben.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I'd love to hear more about that and sort of how this has all come full circle. But maybe you could start, Jim, by just talking about what is your role here and why is it important?
Okay, so my name's Jim Magner. I'm the Director of Business Development and the Patient Advocate here at the Sylvia Brafman Mental Health Center. As the Director of Business Development, I work with facilities in the area, network and vet and programs to make sure they're a good fit for patients that may be stepping down. If they need a higher level of care, want to make sure that they're going to get the right services similar to what they'd receive here at Sylvia Brafman. As a patient advocate, being a former patient myself, I'm always, working with the patients to make sure they're having a great experience here and outside of Sylvia Brafman as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think what's so important about how you carry yourself in this role is that a lot of folks that are in similar positions at other facilities, not a knock on them, are very focused on getting somebody in the door, which is valuable in and of itself. I mean, to be able to match someone in need of help with a good fit in terms of a provider is amazing. But then you really are in the trenches throughout the life cycle of the patient to make sure that they have a good experience, that they're settled, that they have anything that they need. And I think that's an extra layer that you add in terms of why your role is so important as patient advocate.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, with that, being a former patient myself, having spent my 20s in and out of treatment centers, I want to make sure that patients are having the right experience. I didn't know what I was doing when I was going to treatment. I had someone that just suggested I go somewhere and went there. I want to make sure that when they're here, they're comfortable, they're getting their needs met. They're doing the work as well. And, a lot of times you'll see patients kind of just stuck, not knowing what they're doing, not knowing if they're in the right place or whatever. And so I'll sit with them and just, share some of my experience, strength, and hope from what I went through and kind of, work with the families as well, let them know that their loved ones are in the right place. And if there are any issues, make sure that I can, speak with Ben, yourself, to get those addressed.
So I wanted to ask you about that. So why Sylvia Brafman? And the reason I asked that, especially for you, is that you're in contact with all the different treatment centers here in Florida, and you could work with these different treatment centers. You didn't have to come to Sylvia Brafman.
Right.
So why Sylvia Brafman? What is it about us that you want to be part of?
So for me, it has to do with the family-like atmosphere. I know, Ben, you and I go back over a decade, and so I've known you long enough to know how you operate, and the kind of experience that patients and their families are going to have here. When I had the opportunity to come on at the open house and meet Jamie and see kind of the direction and the vision you guys had for this program, I knew it was different. I knew it was unique. Being a primary mental health program, a lot of times people hear mental health and start thinking that one flew over the cuckoo's nest type of mentality where they're just going to be locked in some hospital. And so giving people the experience to let them know that while they're here, they're going to be in a home-like atmosphere. They're going to get their needs met. They're not going to be just locked in some hospital, and they're going to actually recover and feel better. Was different. I mean, we talk about the family-like atmosphere. I have 2 small children, and there is no time where I've ever felt like I couldn't bring my kids here to the center to meet with the patients, to kind of be with the team at times when need be, and they love coming here. And that's what kind of, I feel, separates us from a lot. Like it feels that home-like and safe that I can bring my own children here.
And I think you in particular are an embodiment of what we say often, which is that we are not a treatment factory. We're human beings, and that is really critical for our culture and how we operate and how we engage with families and patients and just our whole how we show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Stuff.
Thank you for that, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.